All right, I want to personally thank the International Olympic Committee for blocking my video, 2024 Satanic Olympics. I actually tried twice to put it up. I even deleted hashtags, cover photo, and title, yet the International Olympic Committee blocked it again. Now, YouTube is not to blame. The International Olympic Committee put a copyright on all opening ceremony footage. YouTube has to obey. So I am not mad with YouTube, actually, quite the opposite. In YouTube Studio, they showed me exactly what to trim out so they could put my video up. How cool is that? Anyway, YouTube does not pay me. I work. I work long and hard. All my videos are done in my spare time. Now, this particular video, which was only 20 minutes long, took me 3 days to create. I barely got 5 hours sleep a night and worked 10-hour days. Between editing footage, cutting, voiceovers, research, and video tie-ins, I was exhausted. So when I put it up, finally, I was crushed when it was blocked. I was so angry. I yelled at God. I swore, I cried, and I wanted to give up on YouTube, and then some. In a nutshell, I'm ashamed of my rage. My wife, oldest daughter, my brother, and my boss all told me the same thing, and I repented. They said, keep going, find a way around this. This is clearly Satan attacking and the Olympics hiding. All of them stated the fact that your video falls into the tiny percent that the International Olympic Committee banned. That says a lot. To be in that low percentage that got banned says that I was saying 100% truth. There was no hate speech, cursing, or judging any people in my video. Just straight up facts that Satan was the coordinator of the Olympics. Let me tell you how God turned my anger and sadness into joy and excitement. He had a plan the whole time. You see, there's two main factors to this. The first one, the simple fact I was pointing out the evilness in almost the entire ceremony, and they blocked me for it, screams I was right. Two, my brother told me who cares if it gets taken down as long as one person heard it. Ironically, when I arrived at work broken, my unbelieving boss told me to make this video because he couldn't believe his eyes. He took my phone and went into the back of the restaurant and watched the entire video. I'm going to quote him. This is what he said. When I saw the opening ceremony, it shook my world. And now, 10 days later, I'm still shaking. He also instantly said, it's Satan attacking you because of this. He agrees with me. The fact that they copyrighted it shows their guilt. So just like my brother said, if it opened the eyes of one person, ironically, my boss was the one person I was trying to reach. Not to mention, he witnessed all the vids and info I put in there, and there was nothing the International Olympic Committee could do about that. Yay, God. So as you can see, God took a bad experience and made it an even awesomer video out of it. I got to add my boss's reaction to the vid, and I got banned, which is pretty awesome if you think about it, because I haven't gotten into trouble on YouTube yet. So I had to get back to work on it. The 5 parts I had to trim will be replaced with me describing them in detail, and my boss will watch it again when I put it up, and he will call me out if I lie about anything, because he's cool that way. So you could guarantee that my descriptions are 100% truth, and because YouTube rocks, you could search these parts up and see for yourself. The redone parts will be labeled Take 2, and I will do them all in front of the Satan statue in my hometown. Remember, Revelation 12:9, Satan is also depicted as a dragon. Fitting spot, I thought. So in closing, before I run the video, I just want to say, hey, International Olympics Committee and Satan, if you thought I was zealous before this attack, you just wait, because now I'm super motivated. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9. And you banned my video but not my phone. I showed 2 unbelieving coworkers the original video and both said, and I quote, my eyes are really open now. You gave me something to think about. Hey IOC, you can bet I'm going to keep the original and show anyone that will watch, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right. First off, I want to personally thank Satan and the Olympics for this. Let's start with a prayer. Dear Father, I just pray that we get strength and wisdom to understand and walk what we learned today. In the precious name of your Son, Yeshua, Jesus, we pray. Amen. All right. Hear me out before you turn this off. Okay, listen. My boss has listened to me dribble on and on about the end times, signs in the weather, growing boldness of Satan, the world's growing hatred of Christians, the mockery of God in media and entertainment, the satanic promotion of sin, and the ultimate need of Christ. It was just words falling on the ear of an employer who tolerated me because he enjoyed the benefits of an employee with Christian morals. The clips you will see today are from his DVR that he recorded as he watched in sheer amazement. My words came to life in his head as he watched Satan show himself to the world, finally. Now I understand patience and seed planting. 15 years worth. Had I not been going on every day about this stuff, he said I never would have seen it. You see, Satan has desensitized the whole world by now. So to the whole world, the Olympics this year were shock value at most, but not enough for people to open their eyes and realize we are in the end times. I bet Satan didn't take into consideration how many worldly people were listening to Christians like me, and that it would tip the scales in the favor of the Father. The really exciting part, he invited 3 people to come watch while I pointed out the Bible references. I'm going to play the clips for you guys, and I'll quote my boss right now. He said, "There's a 2,000-year-old book that says things like this are going to happen. Come watch them happen." And another quote from him. He said to me, "I'm not a believer yet." I said, "Well, at least your foot's in the door." And he said to me, "I'd say my whole leg was." I love this man. I've loved this man since he hired me. He's like a dad to me, literally like a dad to me, right? So to hear him say this made my hair stand up. I texted my girls immediately, and they instantly started praying. We prayed all week because I had to go up on a Sunday, so I had a week to wait, and we just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed to go up there. And he was so excited. I was so excited to be there. It was awesome. Anyway, so I want to personally thank Satan and the Olympics for opening my boss's eyes. I pray that he and you will believe that the world is blind to Satan's tricks without the Bible. Check out 2 Corinthians 4:4. So let's take a look at what my boss saw that opened his eyes. France truly hated God. I mean, look into history. It's written all over. I can't even blame France for hating God. I mean, his representatives were Catholics, and those dudes were horrendous. The things that they did, the things that they taught were even worse. I mean, look at purgatory. Could you imagine being a peasant and then having a Catholic priest tell you that your loved ones are in purgatory, and if you don't buy them out of purgatory, they're going to hell? And not being able to actually buy them out of purgatory, that would be terrible, right? They sold stuff like indulgences. Peasants couldn't afford indulgences. They couldn't afford anything. Peasants could not afford to live under the Catholic rule, right? So you can't blame them. So anyway, not the beginning theme of the French Revolution was hate for God. It was like hate for politics, right? For kings and stuff like that. But the central theme of the revolution became hate for God. And that's where things took a turn for the worse for Christians. And it got real, real bad. That's why they call it the Reign of Terror. All right, let's start with the revolution theme. The Olympics theme was the French Revolution. Don't you see? Satan and the International Olympic Committee wants to start a revolution, but not against nations, kings, or rulers, but against God. In this clip, they had decapitated women in the windows of the Paris Conciergerie Palace singing along with a death metal band called Gojira, while flames shot out all over the place. It was so creepy. It also had a reenactment of a gruesome battle scene outside that very palace. Men standing on top of a pile of rubble with dead bodies and fire behind it, with the word "Liberté" strewn across the screen. Truly morbid. I can see why they didn't want me to show you. Remember, the idea is revolution against God, not country. For the first time ever, a heavy metal band played the opening of the Olympics. Now, like we all know, I love the heavy metal, but I love Christian metal. I know where all the other heavy metal comes from, and I know what it stands for, and it had no place there, okay? Now, the weird thing is they played a cover. It was a band called Gojira or something like that. They played the cover of A Ka Ira, Okay, it was a cover of a song written during the French Revolution. So like I said, French Revolution is all over it. But it's revolution that is the word that we got to pay attention to, right? Another name for the revolution was the Reign of Terror, like we just discussed, and it ended July 27th. Opening for the Olympics was July 26th. Coincidence? I don't think so. Okay, so the day after the Paris openings, Paris lost power for 10 minutes. They called it fake news and had an explanation. Not God, they said. Reminds me of Brazil 2023, their Satanic Festival, when there was a terrible flood the next day. They called that fake news too, with an explanation for the flood. There's always an explanation. Last time I checked, truth is always called fake, and people will explain away devastation and wrath to stay comfortable in their sins. Now that was just horrendous. I had to cut it short because I couldn't watch it anymore, and I don't want you to watch it anymore. If you really want to look it up, look it up. Here we're showing what it looked like during the Reign of Terror, what you had to look forward to if you went against the mob, if you were a Christian, if you were Catholic, whatever. This is truly terrifying. I mean, pictures can't do it any justice. What would you do in that situation? Would you denounce God? Would you pray to him? Hard to say, isn't it? Hopefully we'd all just pray. And here's another creepy satanic fact. They handed out all these condoms to the athletes. They are really, really promoting and pushing this love agenda. All right, check out this really pretty light show that they're doing on the Eiffel Tower. Notice something twisted? That's right. It's a pentagram. How can all these people be there and no one notice this? Were the lights just going too fast? Or are they just blind? Anyone notice all the women floating and flying around? Kind of reminds you of satanic witches, doesn't it? All right, the library. So this scene is so perverse and dripping with agendas. We open with pretty boys running around an old library, pulling out trashy love novels and being all interested in it. The love agenda is seriously being pushed throughout the whole opening ceremonies. Among the books they are pulling out, all sexy like, they pull out a book called Le Diable à Corpse, translated The Devil in the Flesh. What the heck? That's super awkward, don't you think? Kind of looks like there's a satanic agenda being subliminally placed here. Now for the finale. Just before they frolic off to go to a bedroom where they close the door on the camera, they all start throwing torn pages all over the place in the library. It literally rains ripped up pages all over the library. I believe that represents the destruction of the Bible agenda. Look it up and comment your thoughts, because I'd really like to hear them on this one. It straight up looks that way. 2 years ago, Celine Dion was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, an incurable disease. She couldn't possibly sing, yet there she is. Did she pull a Robert Johnson and sell her soul? I mean, realistically, guys, how is she seriously singing at the 2024 Olympics right now? Anyway, lastly, what's with this freeze frame screenshot? Total fluke? I don't think so. But there it is. Enchanté. MMXXIV. Enchanté in French equals bewitched in English. MMXXIV in Roman numerals is 2024 in English. That's exactly what's happening right in front of our eyes. We're being bewitched. All right, guys. Satanic facts and signs aside, now let's get into the deep stuff. We'll start with the four horsemen. This was great because we only noticed two horsemen, the pale and the white horse in the opening. Check it out. All right, two of the four horsemen. Revelation 6 is where you will find all four of the horses. This first clip starts with a mechanical pale horse riding on the water at night. It is so creepy how they did this. You gotta go find it. It'll blow your mind. This horseman represents death. Then we see the white horse, represented by the Antichrist, marching down the road with all the nations that are competing in the games following flying their flags. Remind you of anything? It should. Revelation 13, 3-4, and all the nations of the earth follow after the beast, the Antichrist. And it's right there, strewn down the street. All the flags following that white horse, you guys. It is mind-blowing. The mockery. Remember, he's mocking. This isn't the actual coming of those horsemen. It's the mockery of it, okay? Hello? It was right there, and no one saw it or discerned it. It was very disturbing. Again, look this up to catch its true horror. I bet right now some are saying, isn't it 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, not 2? Come on, plowboy. Where's the other 2? All right, let's be straight up. Satan didn't think that anyone would research this or look into it very deeply. But I did. Just look at this commercial for the Olympics. There they are, the red and the black horses, right in front of us, right in plain sight. The hardest things to see are on display. All right, on to the Last Supper. This was just horrid. I couldn't contain my hurt by this love agenda-based Last Supper. Think what you want, but it was open mockery. And the fact that it was more than 12 disciples doesn't mean anything. Satan and the International Olympic Committee just added 5 more people to the mix to hide the fact that this was open mockery. And so that the International Olympic Committee could say, look, there's too many people to be the Last Supper, and social media will buy it and sell it. But Barbara Bush let the cat out of the bag. You'll see that later. Plus they added a child to the mix, to the love agenda mix. Put 2 and 2 together on that one, guys. They're really pulling out all the stops. Now I can understand adding the love agenda to their ceremonies, openness and all, and fairness and whatnot. But it was heavily pushed throughout the entire ceremony. The different types of love agenda people made an eerie pick. My mind is going to be scarred for some time to come. There is no way I or you will be able to unsee this act. Now, how could they do this unless they truly wanted to revolt against God? I pity them. Also, I checked a clip out on YouTube of The View, and Whoopi said a lot of stupid things. But the biggest one was that the coordinator of the Last Supper skit said it wasn't the Last Supper, it was from a 17th century painting of the Feast of the Gods. Lies. Utter and absolute lies. Look it up. The only thing that skit had in common was 17 persons involved in the picture. Look it up. This is bull. All right, on to the creepy blue dude. He's Dionysus, the god of wine, god of ritual madness, etc., a whole bunch of other things. But he's also referred to as the dying and rising god. Sound like someone else? Yep, Yeshua. Luke 24, 46-47, check it out. This dude's a false Christ with a plan. Now Dionysus on the platter resembles his flesh for food. He is the god of wine. Add those things together with the mockery of the Last Supper, and you have a mockery and a pagan version of the Lord's Supper, the flesh and blood. Finally, look closer at the girl in the middle. Doesn't her headset look like this old painting of Jesus? Again, another telltale sign that this is mockery and symbolism. Here's a real fun fact. The Olympic Committee stated that it wasn't their intention to mimic the Lord's Supper, but Barbara Bush, who was in the center of the Lord's Supper, shared 2 posts referring to herself as the Olympic Jesus and the group as the New Gay Testament. Thank you, Barbara. All right, let's move on to Baal worship. Understand this. These Greek gods are making a comeback. Satan wants you to worship any gods other than Yeshua, because all other gods are Baal. Paul buried these Greek fakers, 1 Corinthians 8, 4-6. But Satan is resurrecting them in the Olympics. Now look at the children of Israel. Twice when they left God, they went back to Baal worship, which is represented by a bull. Check out Exodus 32 and 1 Kings 12. Bull idols. Plus, what's on Wall Street? And what do they worship? Look in front of the EU building as well. You'll find another one there. This is insane. All right, let's rewind back to 2022, the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Do you notice anything? That's right, bull worship. Satan has been desensitizing us for a while now. Look at the woman riding the beast. Is that familiar? It should be. Read your Bibles. Look at the worship happening right in front of us. We don't notice it or we block it out. The commentators commentate a reason for this, and they give this big dribbly story on what's behind the bull. But if you were to press mute on that, you would totally get a different picture, because the acts are the message. You can get it without any sound. Not to mention, this bull, its name is Ozzy. You know, the guy that sings on the radio, "Don't believe in Jesus." Satan has been planting seeds left, right, and center, and no one's seeing it. No one's connecting the dots because he figures that we're all got such a small attention span that we won't connect the dots. Brothers and sisters, we need to connect the dots, because once you connect the dots, you're going to get the picture, and he doesn't want that. Look at this worship, you guys. They're worshiping it right in front of us. All right, on to Baal worship. Baal allegiance. The world pledges their allegiance to Baal. All the other cuts weren't so devastating to my video, but this one was the crown of my video. We open with the hooded horseman walking down a long podium towards a golden bullhead with all the nation's flags waving everywhere you look. People all stare and take pics as the horseman carries the Olympic flag to the awaiting officers. The flag is passed to them. They raise it on a flagpole that is directly in front of the golden bullhead, which we know is Baal, aka Satan. As the nations look on, their allegiance is raised on the pole to Baal, aka Satan, while a choir sings. In worship, there is always singing as well as reverence, which you see in all the onlookers. I strongly urge you to look this clip up. It made me so sick to see it. We're worshiping Baal just like the disobedient children of Israel did. Sad. Just sad. These are truly the end days, brothers and sisters. Look as we pledge our allegiance to the devil and revolt against God. I implore you to look up every fact that I have given you. Our world has truly declared its allegiance to the greatest enemy of our souls. I pray that you will think on this fact. I pray that you will study your Bible. And I pray that you will look up all these clips to show you, so you can see that this is actually happening and the world is a part of it. Don't be a part of the world, brothers and sisters. So as you've seen, my boss opened his eyes to this stuff. I trust you will too. His testimony is true, and it should at least warrant you to look into this stuff. Let's recap for those who weren't paying attention. This is promoting a revolution against God. It's invoking a new age reign of terror. Can you say FEMA camps? News will explain away God's wrath, so everyone stays comfortable in their sins. Pentagrams on perfect display and no one sees. Witches flying around and it's normal art. Pretty people promoting a devious love agenda. Soul-selling singers. Bewitching of the masses. All four horsemen revealed. Direct mockery of the Last Supper and the Lord's Supper. The love agenda being pushed over and over, and you should know what I mean when I say love agenda, because I'm not talking about the Jesus kind of love. Greek gods making a comeback in the name of Satan. Bull worship, aka Baal, aka Satan. Allegiance by all nations being pledged to Baal, aka Satan. And finally, the desensitizing of the world to prepare the way for Satan. Well, I want to prepare the way for the Lord. Are you guys ready for the end of the world? These are the signs of it. It is coming. It is real. Are you prepared to bet your soul that God does not exist? I pray that you're not willing to do that, because he does exist. Look in nature. Look up in the sky. Look at the ocean. It has a creator. Please, give this serious thought. Think about your soul. I pray that you listen. God bless every one of you. Thanks for your time. Please listen.